Hey everyone, welcome to the Hobby Streakers, episode 16. My name is JG, my co-host Liam. Say hi, Liam.
Hello. Hello, Liam.
Hello, Liam. Today Liam on 1531. Awesome.
Yep.
And myself on 364. You're so close. Tomorrow will be my 1 year anniversary. What are we talking about? We're talking about Hobby Streak. Hobby Streak is doing 30 minutes of hobby every day. At least 30 minutes. You can do more if you want. It's not a problem. You do not have to stop at 30 minutes. And then you go for the longest streak possible. So yeah. It's been pretty crazy. The world is pretty crazy right now. Isn't that a song? Da-na-na-na-na. Oh, no, yeah. Crazy right now? Like, Beyonce?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Like, weird reference in the back of my brain. But anyways. So, yeah. Here, it's been snowing. And then it stopped snowing. And then it's been melting, freezing, melting, freezing, melting, freezing, melting, freezing. And it's been a pain. So yeah, I was a little bit sick. Not the big bad thing last week. Just freaking cold because it's like one day minus 15 during the day. The next day is 10 degrees during the day. And so you're like, okay, somebody needs to stop playing with the thermostat and just like leave it on something. Leave it on minus 15. I don't care. Just stop turning it like full on both ways because it just like it's crazy. So because of all those changes of temperature, I just got a cold, which was gone in like 2 days. Well, it was funny because Monday I was not feeling well, Tuesday I was feeling better, Wednesday I was fine, Thursday again I was not feeling well, and then Friday I was fine again. I was like, come on. It's just like, yeah, weird. Another thing that I did is, and some of you, I don't know if they have them. They probably have them in the UK too. So there's those weird t-shirts that are supposed to be fitting for beer bellies and dad bellies.
Right.
So I bought one. I'm just gonna wait and see how that goes. I was like, let me try. I got enough of a dad belly to warrant getting one of those. So yeah, that was one of the things that I bought this last week. I was like, let me try that. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Probably next podcast I'll be wearing it just to show people. But yeah, hopefully it'll make me look like 10 kilos slimmer. We'll see. What's up with you? How's UK?
Yeah.
Weather? Good?
Weather-wise,
Not too bad.
last couple of days have been frosty.
Yeah.
But otherwise, bright sunny sunshine.
Cool.
But, not warm. Weather's finally realised it's January.
Yeah, it's been warmer. And I know like everything is, like when I say minus 15 and I say it's a lot warmer than it used to be. Yeah, by this time we usually have at least a week or a few days of like hitting minus 20 to minus 30. And that's Celsius. And then we usually have about a day or two of minus 40. And that doesn't matter which scale you're looking at. That's the only place they meet. Did you know that?
Mm-hmm.
Fahrenheit and Celsius, minus 40 is the same. So sometimes we have minus 40. And it doesn't matter. Like it's minus 40. We haven't had that in a long time. Like actual years. A couple of years. It hasn't happened. But usually by now we'll have like a minus 20. Which, I mean, the lowest we got was like minus 17, I think, during the night. And usually it's like minus 20 during the day. Like it doesn't go down. Like it doesn't go up. It stays at like minus 20. So, don't know. Not sure. We'll see. But yeah, it's been a milder winter for sure. So yeah. What else is new? What did you buy this past couple of weeks? Did you buy something you shouldn't have, like me? Like some stupid freaking t-shirt? No.
Kind of.
Kind of. Bulla and Burke?
So we talked about this. This was one of the news items a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
This is the New Year's model.
Oh, okay.
So that's.
So you decided to just go for it. All right, cool.
I picked an orc up. He's currently in 3 sub-assemblies. So I got his chest armor as a sub-assembly, and the base with Baller being chased by a giant rat.
Oh, that's this guy. Okay. Cool. Orc? You? What's wrong with you? Mixing it up.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, that could be fun to paint.
Yeah, no,
Looks
you're
like
right.
a cool model.
You're definitely right.
He's sat next to the vampire lady that, when it's not wildly fluctuating in weather temperature and humidity, I can go outside and spray it.
Yeah.
But until then,
he's gonna stay in sub-assembly.
he's gonna sit there on the corner of my desk.
Yeah, it's been difficult to. Well, we'll get to it when I get to what I've done, but yeah, it's been weird to try to spray paint. Well, spray prime or spray paint anything. It's a pain. Yeah. All right. Well, let's do our shoutout. Unless you have.
Am I in the wrong page, or are we doing things in a funny order? I'm on the wrong page. Fantastic. Cool. Don't mind me.
Alright. Because I'm like, yeah, the first thing is.
As we go. Yep. I'm just.
Well, go for it. You're
I had
first
myself on page 2. I'm first. We've got.
So first of all, everybody, congrats. I've seen a lot of people that started on New Year's. They are still going strong after 18 days. Hopefully by the time you watch this, you're on like 20-something days. Couple of days, yeah, we'll see. We'll see if I manage to get it out.
Lots of people have kept the habit, which
which is really nice. I was surprised, honestly, but really happy that people are keeping it up. And a lot of people on 1 year in the past couple of. So pretty cool.
Everybody who started last year for New Year. So.
Well, yeah, and
New Year's hobby resolutions.
Yeah, some people I started like around the same time that I did because they only have like a few days ahead of me. So I thought that was pretty cool. I was like, not the only one. Why is this? What the hell? That's weird. Go for it.
So we've got Useless Commie and Mineral Eater at 200 days. We've got Archon Drakazar at 300 days. Got Bran, I think, at 500 days. Got Romantics 88 at 600 days. And then a whole bunch of 1 years. We've got Andy Smith Games, J. Adam Vickland, Wolf Doom, CRM Kennedy, The Crime Machine, and Normal Player Character.
Alright,
the 1 years. That's everybody that I saw come across my feed. So
on
if
Instagram.
I missed you, it's because Instagram didn't want me to see you. Sorry.
But yeah, and so the ones that I saw on Twitter.
On the Twitters.
We've got KorlithZaan on 700 days. We've got Ghost Runner 40k on 1 year. We got Rogueblather 1 year. NormNondo 9,500 days. I'm guessing you know him. Because he's like a month behind you. Yeah, barely.
He's a month behind me. He's one of the
first one. Yeah, he's one of the OG.
It's him and Tom and Mick who are keeping me honest.
Yeah. So yeah, they're right on your trail. You slip, they'll pass you, man. Then we have MommaNegan 1 year, which was also on Instagram. So you've JohnOSpencer 1,500 days as well.
Yep.
He's a little bit further. He's probably on 1,506 now, or something like this. So pretty close to you. thebellyboy 100 days. MKH Serendipity is on 100 days. We told you we would give you a shout out. He was like, I need some motivation. And we're like, hey, we'll give you a shout out if you keep going and if you pass the 100. As of today, he's on 107 days. So congrats, keep going, man. You got this. And again, you don't have to paint every day. You don't have to do. And if you feel burned out, just do something else. Read a codex, some rules, like find something else to do. There's plenty to do, so don't worry about it. All right, then we have Mick Zulpa on 1,200 days, so a year roughly behind you. Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Crust Monster 1 year. tullavin 500 days. Spy VS 13 400 days, and SMR 500 days. So congrats to all those people. And yeah, a little bit
Good
upset
job,
that a lot of people
everybody.
are on 1 year and I'm still not. God damn it. Like they're just slightly ahead of me, but yeah, no, I'm just kidding. Everybody's doing awesome.
I need to go find lots of things for you to do tomorrow so that you're really busy.
Well, tomorrow I'm probably going to be doing the... Part of it will be doing this thing.
Big question.
Yes.
Are you doing anything big for your 1 year?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Because I will have... It's Wednesdays. Wednesdays are pretty busy. My son has group violin, so I need to take him to that. I'm working on the recording, on the editing for the episode, which hopefully should go a lot smoother than it did last time, because we're back to something that we know works well, and your videos work really well, so that's fine too. But yeah, so yeah, hopefully that should take a lot less time than it did. But yeah, other than that, I have nothing planned. I might actually just prime, but last time when I tried priming, I had some issues with my airbrush, so yeah, not too sure. I need to completely unscrew it, and it's annoying. I don't know what's wrong. That's the problem. That's my big concern. Okay. But anyway, so today, painting Blade. What are you painting? Well, continuing painting Blade. What are you doing today?
I am painting my Storm Strike chariot.
Okay.
And more specifically,
so I'm guessing there's a chariot involved, and a stormcast on the chariot with a bow or a spear.
Those are the two weapon options, and I chose the spear.
You chose the spear. Okay, cool.
I did. That's stay. Oh no, that's balance.
Cool.
So I've got that in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sub-assemblies.
Okay.
So there is an order that you can put this together.
Order.
Because it's an easy to build kit. So it all just like slots together. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Making sure I'm doing the.
Oh. Why are you so liquid?
The beasts that are pulling the chariot first.
What kind of beast? Is that the Griffhound, or is it something different?
They're big Griffhounds.
Okay, cool.
So.
Well, because they use them as horses, so I figured
Yeah.
they would be something.
They use Griff Chargers as horses.
Okay.
And
Griffhound as dogs, basically.
Griffhounds as dogs.
Okay.
So Griff Chargers have hooves on their back legs.
Okay.
These have paws on all four.
Okay.
So, and then they are significantly bigger than a Griffhound because I've got a Griffhound for scale.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. I see. All right.
They're just
cool.
big. So,
right.
shrug. It might say what they're actually supposed to be in the book, but that is all the way over there on the other side of the room. So, sod that.
All right. Well, so that's what we're doing today. What we did the past couple of weeks. So, I've actually not been painting a lot. Well, so I finished my wolf and werewolf for the silver bayonet. So I am really happy how they turned out. I took some videos on it of how I painted them and everything, which I will try to put together with some voiceover to do a small video. So hopefully I'll have that out at some point
soon.
So yeah. Yeah. I'll try to, because I mean I need to record like all the voiceover of basically all the choices I've made and why I did this and why I did that, and so because I've recorded nothing, I just recorded me painting them. So yeah, that's what I need to do.
Likewise myself with a bit that I'll get onto in a minute.
Alright. What else did I do? Alright, so I printed a few things for the silver bayonet. I printed a small cottage, which is down there, which I didn't prime. I did...
a thatched roof cottage.
Huh?
Thatched roof cottage?
It's like, it's the... So, it's a fantasy more type thing, which...
I've got something for thatched roof cottages. Burninate the countryside.
Yeah, well, you could probably burn that one. There's a guy on Thingiverse, and he's doing a lot of building, Hulheim building, and they're freaking awesome. So I already have one of his bigger building completely built, and then I printed this one. Then I found a guy that's doing Victorian style houses and buildings and stuff.
Okay.
And another one who's doing Ripper London, he called it. So Jack the Ripper time London, which kind of fits also. Might be a little bit later on as far as the silver bayonet is concerned, but there's not really a period for it. So so I printed a warehouse from the Ripper guy, and I've printed Victorian house for this other guy who's looks like he's architect student. Well, or architect something. So he designed those buildings, and yeah, they're pretty cool. So I've started I printed those. I started priming them, which was a nightmare because it's freaking cold outside. So I ended up doing it in my garage, which then stinks horribly.
Yeah.
But, well, the garage is pretty big, so it's not too bad. And this is the thing. So the first one, I couldn't find it, but we have it's a dust extractor for when we do woodwork. So there's this giant thing that just sucks the air on one side, and then there's a filter on the other. And it just like, well, no, it sucks in on one side where there is the filter, so it just blocks all the dust from basically just staying in the air and settling on everything else. So I've turned that one on for a couple of hours even after, and actually that helped a lot to get rid of the smell, so I was pretty happy about that. So I might do that again. I couldn't just do it with the airbrush because I primed them with a primer filler for the striation of the printer. So yeah, pretty happy. Printed a whole bunch of scatter, like small pieces, like a whale and some monsters, like this ogre, which actually is gonna be a different thing, and then I made some clue markers, which I found out that I used to try to make them in Mesh Mixer and all this. Well, I just could make them straight up into the slicer itself, and I probably will try to do a quick video about it because I thought that was really simple and quick. So yeah, so I did that. And the guy, so I talked about him before. He's doing a lot of 3D prints of D&D monsters.
Right.
The Yoshi or something like this. He has, and I haven't seen it on his like either Stingiverse or the other one. So I'm wondering if it's only for the Patreon, because I'm a Patreon. It's $1. It's and it comes up with a new thing every month, so it's not that bad. And the number of them that I printed. So he came out with critters like this buck and a doe and some, like, I've got a whole thing full of a raccoon and rabbits and owls and rats and and so I printed a whole bunch of them, and I'm putting them on my terrain, and some frogs, which I will put on the well. And so yeah, so I've put a couple already on one of the terrain pieces that I work with, that we're working on. So I thought that was pretty cool. So yeah, I'll keep doing that. But yeah, I thought it was pretty cool that he made some stuff like that. And he also made some, you know, like a potion box and a stack of book and some crosses and, well, and other types of how do you call it, gravestones and books and potions by themselves and stack of them. And so all these things are like super cool, because then you can just put that on a base, which I did, and all of a sudden you got a clue marker. So I got one here where it's a stack of books on a base, and all of a sudden, hey, here you go, that's a clue marker. I've got one that I made I was really happy about, which I do not see here, so I'm wondering if it's in my little box. One has got, because he's got like, yeah, here it is. So he's got a heart, and he's got some skull heads, and he's got some stuff like that. So I've done one where there's a couple of skulls in a triangle with a heart in the middle and a crow perch on one of the skull. And so I was like, to do some weird looking just clue markers. I mean, it's for silver bayonet, so it's all supernatural anyway. So yeah, so I figured I'm like, yep, that'll fit really well in there.
Do some doll housing.
Yeah.
Make it all look good.
So yeah, So I was pretty happy about that. I also did the video because I finally got this big boy. Dun dun dun. Mr.
Oh, that is big.
That is, yeah. Is he doesn't fit in on my camera. He's huge. I mean, compared to Dormammu, like, yeah, he's like, if he was standing next to him, he'll probably be a little bit smaller, slightly, but because he's jumping and everything, he's actually taller.
Dormammu, I've come to fist fight.
Yeah. Go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep. I don't think that would work with Dormammu, but anyway, so I received him and Miss Marvel, which...
If in doubt, just punch him harder.
Is also pretty freaking big.
Yeah, she's
been
eating her vegetables.
Look, like, next to... She's not small. Like, next to Mr. Hulk, Buster, she's not that small. So that's the ambingen version of her, which is when she transforms and gets super tall. But yeah, so I've done those and a video and did the unboxing and everything. I was really surprised that the normal version of Miss Marvel is one piece. Yeah. I was like, what? That's it. That's the mini, and that is one piece. Like, there is no assembly. She has a very static pose, and I think that might be why. But like, she's got her normal, hands on the hips, and she's got the thing floating. But yeah, she's not. It's not. But I was like, I was really surprised. I'm like, really? That's the first time I see a mini that's one piece. But anyways. And that's it for me. That's what I've done. So yeah, lots of terrain. Still working on trying to make tire tracks in the mud using PVA glue. Not working as well as I thought. I'm gonna have to do it like multiple passes before it shows up the way I want. But yeah, so far so good.
Let me.
So what did you do in the last 2 weeks?
This. Really bit. Cool. Right. So I finished painting up my secret project. I revealed that to the world. So that was some 1,000 Suns for Horus Heresy.
Yeah.
Which I am taking to an event next Sunday.
Cool.
Provided that we're allowed to go to events by then. Disclaimers and stuff.
We're still in the middle of the freaking pandemic. Who knew? Yeah.
Let's call it a work meeting, it'll be fine. Yeah, so the last unit of that, I finished painting them up. That was a unit of Kinetai Blade Occult. They're Space Marines with 2 Force Swords. They go around and they chop people up, and it's cool. I filmed doing that, so I'm chopping that up and pasting that together and making a painting video for that. It's just taking me a while because I've got other stuff going on. I'm trying to learn how to play the army so I don't embarrass myself at the event. And I've got all the rest of my hobby streak and trying to have a social life and go to work and stuff going on. So I might get that done tomorrow if I'm not that busy.
And we just got a new news item that just dropped literally like 2 minutes ago. Well,
Cool.
no, 30 minutes ago.
I
I just saw, but yeah.
Started and finished painting a Knight Relictor. It's one of the new heroes for Stormcast that came out with the new range. He's a priest. He does prayers, and he hits people with his big spiky mace. So
Okay.
I figured after painting a lot of units for the Thousand Suns, I'd paint some individual heroes and just take my time and enjoy that. And so then after I did him, I moved on to a Lord Castellant with Gryph-hound.
Again, yay.
And
That's
he's
the
got a
doggy
big
one.
He's a little doggy.
Well, a big doggy, because they're pretty freaking big for doggies, but yeah.
I mean, yeah, they're large. He's got a big lantern that does stuff. And
So you're more a lance guy than a bow guy, yeah? You prefer the lance?
in terms of the chariot, I looked at the rules and I went, lance.
Okay.
And then after I'd built it, I was like, this is an easy to build kit, and the guy holding the lance has he's only got the one set of arms, so they've got to put the arms in the right position so you can use the bow with the same arm position.
Okay.
So you could just literally pop the weapons out and change them, and I didn't realise that until after I'd glued it. So if I get another one, that'll be
you
swappable.
could magnetize.
Could magnetize. Could just pull it out and pop it in.
Oh, okay, yeah. So you just slide it in. Okay. I thought, oh, cool.
But this one I've glued because I'm an idiot, and I didn't realise until after I'd glued it. I was like, I could do that.
Too late.
Yeah. After I did that, I built Baller and Burke, and I had an evening earlier in the week where I just couldn't be bothered to sit down and paint anything. So I built a tiny plane.
Yeah, I saw. That's cool.
I've got two of these in. These come two to a box, so I've got another one sat around for
another one of those times where you're like,
the next time where I'm like, I really can't be arsed.
It's just normal, you see, like even the best of us, we go back to what we used to say, just people chill out.
Yeah.
Don't take it too seriously. Enjoy.
It's supposed to be fun.
Enjoy the journey, as always. Oops.
And but that sort of segues quite nicely into the things that I tried the last couple of weeks. So, because I'm taking this army for the Thousand Suns to an event in a couple of weeks, I was like, I should probably figure out how this army works when you play it. And I should probably remember how this game works. Because
it's been a while.
I've played Horus Heresy prior to bringing this army out twice in the last 2 years.
Ooh, yep, a bit rusty, are we?
So I was like, I need to remember how everything works, so I don't make a complete fool out of myself. And this army uses a phase of the game that there are very few armies that use that phase of the game.
Alright.
So I need to remember and learn how the psychic phase works.
Cool.
So I did that.
Nice.
So got a couple of practice games in using the event pack. The event pack's out. So if you're going to an event, read the event pack. Figure out what missions are in the event pack and what the missions
will be.
The objectives for the missions will be. And then you can practice that. And then you can know what you're supposed to be doing.
That's cool.
Build your armies around that. But, I mean, I'd already built my army by then. Anyway, So,
well,
yeah. So
nice. So that's what you
had a game with one of my friends at the club, and there's another club that I have been to a few times, I go to off and on when I have a free Tuesday evening. So last Tuesday, because we weren't recording, I was like, does anyone want to help me learn my new army?
Come on, help me out.
So yeah, I went down and did that, and my brush has now... Oh, look at that. I don't know if you can see that on there, but my shade brush has decided it wants to go into 4 separate points.
Ooh. That's not good. Alright, well,
yeah,
as I was saying, I
put me
did
out
a
my
lot
stride.
of terrain, and so I tried. Well, I wouldn't say it's something new. I've made trees before, which didn't work out at all. Like, just didn't. It sucked. So this time around, I'm like, alright, let me try different techniques and stuff, and still work like crap. So then I reach out to everybody and be like, hey, how do you do it? Like, what's your go-to? So I tried doing using a spray adhesive to do the tree, which I thought worked until it dried, and then I realized it didn't work. So then I tried another spray adhesive, which was better, which was the 3M one. And that worked awesome, except that when I put the spray adhesive on it at the end to seal it, now my trees are frosty. Like, now they're frosty.
I mean, you can lead into that if you want.
Yeah, I will need to spray the other one better, but yeah, I will leave them like this, but that sucked. So then I tried, the final technique that I found was spray adhesive first, then instead of trying to dump it in the freaking... That's BS, like, doesn't work. I grab the freaking thing and I put them individually where I want them and look like a freaking tree. That works a lot better. And then when I'm done with this, then I use my spray bottle with PVA, water, and a little bit of dish soap, so that it soaks into the tree and makes it rock freaking hard. So I do a couple of those, like I do usually like a few sprays over a couple of days, and that worked great, and I was super happy. And so now that's my new technique for doing trees, and so I'll try to make more. I went shopping last weekend and could not find any freaking flock. Like, well, I didn't want flock, I wanted clump foliage. And so I went to Cheyenne and I couldn't find any because we didn't go into any stores that was remotely close to, well, where I could find something like this. I mean, I went to an Hobby Lobby, and when I saw the price of the freaking thing, I went, hell no. Like, $6-7 for a small bag that would barely make like 2 trees. I'm like, no. So I'll probably end up eventually order those online, because I don't have anything even remotely close that I could go to and find like cheap, readily available. And I don't want to make it myself. I mean, I have enough sponges that I could put in an old blender and all that stuff, and then put some paint on it, blah, blah. Yeah, not sure I want to do that. It's like, it's the same thing I was looking at, because I'm starting doing terrain again. I was like, do I want to do Sculpt-A-Mold? Do I want to make my own Sculpt-A-Mold with, you know, plaster of Paris, some toilet paper shredded and soaked in water, blah blah blah, dried and shredded, and turn into pulp and all this. I'm like, do I really want to bother with this? Like, yeah, it could be a project, but yeah, I got other things that I want to do than this. But so yeah, not sure yet. We'll see. But right now I'm just running out of clump foliage, and so I'm like, yeah, I need to figure it out. Probably order them online, like I said. So yeah, so I tried with I'm not saying with no success, but with relative success, some new techniques for trees, and yeah, we'll keep going, and I'll see what else I can do. But yeah,
I tried a new brush.
Oh, cool. Synthetic or natural?
Continuing my steady decline into using the Citadel Color STC range.
Oh, is that the white wine?
Yeah,
cool.
The white wine. Yeah,
the white one. It's a lapsus.
So yeah,
I need a drink. That's why. So are they synthetic? They're the synthetic one. Do they have a? Did they make a new range for? Like, do the white ones come also for, like, natural or just synthetic?
That's just the synthetic ones.
Okay.
So, I'm assuming that the black ones are their natural sable hair ones.
Do I need to put him with gold things? I don't know.
Yeah, because I've got a good amount of use out of the dry brush. I've got a shade brush. I'm using a base brush at the moment from those, and they've kept their point and they've done what they're supposed to do, and I've just generally been happy with them. Cool. I've my small detail brush was on the way out as I was finishing my my 1,000 Suns, so I was like, well, let's try the small detail brush, see what that's like. So it's technically a small layer brush. Is the definition that they use for it, and it's got me through 13 models so far.
Oh, here we go. You're back. Sorry, you just kind of roboted on me for a little bit.
Okay. Got me through 13 models. It's got me through 13 models so far, so...
Shrug. So far, so good?
So far, so good.
There we go. Mr.
I'll take it.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, no, I'm really happy about my broken toad so far. Alright, so... Yes, I will keep like this. Alright, so we did run a quick poll. And so the poll was about how people get into the hobby. So how do they get into miniature wargaming, tabletop gaming, tabletop wargaming, whatever you want to call it. Painting minis, playing with the minis. Pretty much. So the options that we put were gateway board games, and we'll talk a little bit more about those, but yeah. So was it a board game that got them into, you know, tabletop gaming / wargaming, into, you know, as they got more and more interested in bigger board game, because usually there's a few board games that are mini oriented, especially now. There's a whole freaking lots of them now that are mini oriented. I mean, there's a lot of them that have minis that can make you think, hey, well, some of them minis are just a fluff, but a lot of them can be, you know, you could be like, oh yeah, that's interesting, you know. minis there is something, they can start painting that as well, which kind of also often goes into gets you into that hobby. So that was the first choice. The next one was model assembly. And so I think there's a lot of people that might have done that when they were kids, build airplanes and model construction, like an airplane, a helicopter, a car, or stuff like that. And that could give you, oh, hey, I just built a tank and blah, blah, blah. Well, now what? Like, I cannot use that? Oh, but this thing, you can build models and then you can use them on a table for a game. And so that is also another way of getting into the hobby. And then there's people that just got into it because of the painting. And because they were interested in just, basically the painting side. What? I can paint minis? That's something? And then they got into, oh, what? Oh, no, I can use my painted mini to do something. And then there was the last one, which was, well, just direct to tabletop games, because they saw some Warhammer or whatever, and they were like, this is really cool, I want to do that. How do I get into it? How do I do this now? And so, so it's interesting to see that 47% went directly into tabletop game. I was not expecting it to be like that high, like so many people just straight into it. So I was really surprised about this one, but I think I thought that was pretty cool. And so the second one is from the painting side, which I was also very surprised.
Okay.
Because I was not expecting it to be that much coming from, hey, let me, I like to paint minis, now let me see what I can do with them. And then the rest, which was actually, if you put them together, which is a little bit higher, which is 29% and some change, came from either model construction or gateway board game. So so I thought we could talk about, well, how we got into it ourselves, like, quickly, and because I think we've touched on that on probably one of the first episodes. But then touch upon what we think could be some good gateway related to those subjects. So myself, I already said that I got into it from basically I was in the middle of nowhere. I wanted to do board games. I found Gasland. I did some Gasland cars made out of papers. And then moved back into the US and then started looking at board games, and more like the thing that really got me into starting to paint and all this and the tabletop was Gundam. Because I started doing, so I'm kind of like a mix of gateway board game and model construction, because I think that you can consider Gundam as just model construction. And so so that got me into looking at something like Star Wars Legion, and then Marvel Crisis Protocol, and then a whole bunch of other ones which are ongoing project or things that I'm still painting, toying with, printing for, and all this. And so I think board games, especially today, can really get you into this. Things like, well, and I see it with my kid. He loves a Zombicide because of the minis and everything, so he thinks that's a really cool game. Which the minis are, I will not say placeholder, but they do help a lot to make, like, get into the storytelling in a way. some board games, like, you remove the minis and you're like, well, it's exactly the same freaking game. It doesn't change anything. But having those zombie minis that looks 10 times better than any minis that looks to be in board game like 10 years ago. Now they look really good. That just makes a big difference.
Absolutely.
And then after that, he looks at stuff that I printed for Rain in Hell. And all of a sudden he's like, what? Can I paint one of those weird looking monster, mutant, whatever you want to call it? Because they look super cool. And I would like to paint one of those and put it on the table and play the game. And so yeah, and you know, all these things. Marvel and licenses like this, like Marvel and Star Wars and things like this, do help as well, because they are well known. You know, like, oh cool, I can play with Hulk, I can play with Iron Man, I can play with, and the success of the movies and everything just helps for sure. But it does, like, it helps also be like, hey, well, can I, you know, I can paint one of those too, I can put it on the table, I can be that guy, or I can control those guys, and so yeah, I think that is definitely a big plus. Now, I don't think that model building is as prevalent as it used to be. I remember when I was a kid, those, you know, the model aircraft with the horrible testor paint and all that stuff. And yeah, so I've seen those now at Walmart. They start selling models, and I was really surprised, and I'm wondering if they're gonna, why? Honestly, like, they're selling cars and stuff and aircraft, and I was like, what is that doing here? But yeah, so I don't know if it's coming back, but I don't think it is as much as it used to be. So yeah, and then the painting side, I think that people like Miniac and Ninjon and Vince and all this, they've made the painting side. I mean, Vince, even if you don't play Warhammer and you don't care about Warhammer and you do not follow his like weekly Warhammer night and all this, you go to his website, every time you have a painting question, you will find a freaking answer.
Hobby cheating.
Yeah, he's probably done something about it. So like, this is the thing. He doesn't matter whether you play the game or not. You've seen him do some painting, and if you're doing painting for competition and stuff, then you go to that website and you're like, oh, to the YouTube, and you're like, oh, that's pretty cool. Oh, I like this model that he's painting that I did not know existed because I just wanted to know how to freaking layer or wash or whatever. Oh, what is that model from? Oh, hey, there's another video of him talking about this army. What army? What do you mean by army? And here you go. Now you're hooked, and now you're looking at freaking armies for 40k or AOS or whatever, and you're just getting into the hobby. So I think that a lot of people like this, and you know, Miniac, Ninjon, they're pretty much painter first, I would say. And they always, like, I know that Miniacs, when he started, used to look at, you know, like what people were painting and give feedback and comments and stuff like that. And I found their channels, and I was looking at that before I got into, because I wanted to know how to weather my Gundams and stuff like that. And did I want to repaint the Gundam or not? And then I discovered there was an entire new world of like tabletop and stuff. So I think that is the way to get into Gateway as well. So the way you can get people that might look at what you're painting or what you have on the table and say, hey, that looks interesting. But if they're not like really too thrilled about it, like, yeah, just look at board games, if they like board games, if they like painting, if they like, model assembly or whatever, you'll find something that'll get them interesting in one side of the hobby, and then it's not that big of a stretch to get into the...
coming back. Just saying.
Yeah. For example, yeah. Curse City is an example of... So, like, do you consider that a gateway board game then? Or is it a little bit more advanced?
Sort of. I would consider it more of a gateway board game if
the models were one piece.
No.
That's the thing. For me, that's what the big difference.
If it was, it's sort of, yeah. There's a sort of invisible line where you cross from having like single piece figures like in like Talisman or whatever, or Zombicide,
no, but again, you come back
to move on to like
assembly,
the easy to build push fit stuff that you get in like any of the other Warhammer quests like Blackstone Fortress or Hammerhall or
they were not that bad
to
they were not that bad to assemble. I think that's not, it's not, and you don't even need glue or anything. It's not that big of a stretch to go from, hey, look, you like Zombicide? Well, hey, here you go. Like you got a better looking models, and they're not that hard to put together. Why don't you give that a try?
Yeah.
And the gameplay and everything, I think, is also... I mean, Zombicide is very freaking basic as far as, And this is a thing also. I think that rules also will make a difference.
Yeah.
And I think that something like 40k can be daunting. And something like AOS as well. And you're probably way better fit to answer because you actually do play that. I don't. But when I look at games like Marvel Crisis Protocol, the rule book is pretty small. It's online, it's a PDF, it's a few pages. Then you have stuff like the Silver Bayonet, which I'm working on. Again, I mean, it's one book. A lot of it is stats for the soldiers and the monsters and stuff like that, and scenarios to play the campaign. But there's not that much apart from that that's gonna be really like not to the level as of a 40k. And I think that do not throw someone that plays board game on the not even on a regular basis, like someone who plays board game once in a while, and you'd be like, hey, here's like 20 codices and blah blah blah, and those are all the rules. I mean, you just no. Don't do that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a way you introduce new people into the game, and it's right. Here's an army that I've got. Here's another army that I've got.
Simplified rules. One-page rule might be a good way to get into it.
You use like the way you introduce people to the rules is you don't worry about half of them. You just go, right, these are the stats for the units. These are the core rules of the game. We're just going to stand on this objective and or just hit each other for a bit.
Yeah.
So you see how the game works.
So how did you get into the hobby, and what do you think?
So like my first introduction to the hobby was I was around my grandparents, and my cousin turned up with some Space Marines that he was building. We were like, ooh, that looks cool. And probably forgot about it. And then my brother's friend's dad was into historical miniatures as a build and paint and display rather than play.
Okay.
So he was getting a lot of his stuff from a friendly local gaming store that also did like railway model train stuff,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
but also sold 40k and Magic the Gathering and D&D and stuff like that. So we sort of were aware of it, and then we actually took a detour into Magic. So we were there
a lot
playing.
Oh yeah, I didn't put that in there.
We were there playing Magic
Yeah.
for a few years, and then we just started picking up 40k because it was they did 40k days during the school holidays, so got to go and hang out with people and play 40k for a few hours.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
And yeah, from there, the rest is history.
No.
That's the short version, anyway.
So have you dabbed into like model building at all, and do you do any board games or?
I've got a fairly decent board game collection. I've got the entire Dark Souls board game.
Cool.
That's quite a lot of models. Will they ever be painted? Who knows? Who knows?
But board games you don't need to. Well, it helps, but you don't need to.
I mean, it's nice.
Yeah,
but...
it's nice, yeah. Exactly.
So, I mean, my friend Matt is showing me up. He's got most of a game called Shadows of Brimstone.
Okay.
Which is Weird Wild West.
Cool.
Game. It's a dungeon crawler, and he's got all of that painted.
Ooh, nice.
And it looks great. And well, they had it all. They had a session of the campaign that he's running.
Yeah, that would be definitely something where people would go, "Ooh, that's nice! I didn't know you could paint the board game pieces."
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Oh, hey, how can I paint those?" And then they get into the painting, and then they go into, "Hey, what are you painting? Why is it bigger and better and more detailed than the crap that I'm painting?" And
so I think Workshop have woken up to the fact that gateway games are a way to get people to buy their Falami games a lot quite recently, which is why they've.
What's the other one that
brought back Warhammer Quest? And
is Warhammer Quest the one where you have like the hexagon and you move the troops on the X's and stuff like that? Is that the one?
Warhammer
Underworld.
Quest.
Warhammer Underworld. That's the one. I think Warhammer Underworld is probably even bigger. That's a board game.
They're marketing that in like the same way that they would stuff like X-Wing was back in the day. Where
we forgot about X-Wing. I mean, those are even pre-painted, so you don't even have to worry about painting them. And then they're like, so definitely.
They're sort of pushing for that to be like an organized play thing.
Yeah.
So they've got all the organized play support and seasons and ban lists and new cards and new war bands and this, that, and the other. So they're opening up all the different ways to get into, like, this is our mass war game system.
Yeah. I think it's smart because it gets people into, when people look, again, like, when you look at something like AOS or 40K or any of those big games, I mean, again, like, it could be very daunting and people are like, I don't know.
Which is why, like, when they bought Warhammer Quest back with Silver Tower, you had, like, a hero for, like, each of the order factions in AOS at the time, and you had a couple of Chaos Beasties for that. And then shortly after that, you could go and you could pick up a box of War Scroll cards, so you could use each of those heroes in games of full Age of Sigmar.
Yeah, exactly.
And then Shadows over Hammerhole, they did the same thing.
And Warcry
and then
and Kill
Blackstone
Team.
Blackstone Fortress, they did the same thing. It's like for 40k, it's like, oh, this is the Rogue Trader. It's like, here's a set of rules so you can use the Rogue Trader and his retinue as a unit. And then Curse City.
Yeah.
Here's rules to use Radikar and all the heroes.
No, yeah,
and
for sure. Yeah.
For Underworlds, like,
yeah,
each of the Underworlds warbands has a unit card for iOS, so you can build and paint your what's the new one?
Your warband.
Your warband, Morgoth's Blade Coven. Go, oh, Morgoth's Blade Coven looks cool. Build, paint that. Oh, here's the Daughters of Cain army book. This is what Morgoth's Blade Coven does inside that army.
Yeah.
You've got a full unit painted and ready for playing already.
They get you used to the characters and to the lore and to something that you like, and you're like, well, what can I do with them next, kind of thing. And it opens up doors and windows and board games and but yeah, no, and I think that you're I think when you look at GW, they have like you said, Curse City, then and all those Blackstone Fortress and all that stuff. Then they have the next level, which for me is Warcry and
Kill Team, like the
Kill Team
size games.
Where you start having a little bit more models. Then you have the what is it? Not Commander, but for 40k that. Where you play 40k, but it's just don't have to put 2,000 points.
Crusade?
I don't remember the name. I know that like AOS, you said last time, like the base now is 750, and for 40k there was something like similar where it's you don't have to put that many guys on the board, and you can
Crusade.
Yeah, probably. And so that's the next step. And
it's a way to grow.
Yeah.
Grow your force as you play. So you start off with like a low point value game, but you grow it to full match play size.
And for sure, like it's a good business model to get people interested into the board games and everything.
I mean, they've started doing like over the last few years. They've done like a few like actual like standalone board games like Lost Patrol and Gore Chosen, stuff like that.
Well, whichever way you came to the hobby, we're glad you're here.
Yeah.
I hope you're doing the hobby streak. Because that's a good way to
paint your toys,
especially if you have a lot of like an entire army to do. I gonna have to go pretty soon, so we're gonna switch into the news. Unless you have more to say.
Nope.
No, yeah. I think, like I said, I think whichever way you came into this, and again, like if you want to get people into this, there is plenty of ways to do it. Board games for kids work really well. There's a lot of games for kids with mini, like Mice and Mystics, like Stuffed Fable, like stuff like that just works great. And so try, if you want people to get interested in those things, just show them what you've done, show them what you're doing. Don't bother with lore and rules. Nobody gives a shit. Show them nice looking painting minis. And usually people are like, oh, that looks cool. Well,
and one of the best ways to get people into full-sized games is to make sure you've got two separate forces so that you can go,
and do
this is my main force, this is another force that I've got. do you want to use one of these, and we'll play them against each other, and I'll show you what it's like.
And give them the good one. If they don't care about which one they want, give out the better one, so they will have, they will feel like they're doing better. Don't give them the complicated, super hard to play, blah blah blah. No, don't. Just have fun.
Give them the easy one and be nice.
All right. In the news, so last time they announced Fury for MCP, Nick Fury Jr. and the Shield agents. They've given description of how they work. They are tokens. I would put them kind of like, yeah. They don't attack. They can grab objective. They can grab objective. They can contest some objective and things like this. But yeah, they basically, you kill them, they'll, for a couple of power points, they can come back. But yeah, so they have an interesting thing where you use them as, you're a little bit too far from an objective, you send them, they'll drop, grab the objective. That's the shield one. We don't have the rest of them, but that's, the shield one are pretty much objective grabby soldiers. And they go on the board. They get killed, they all come back. They have no points or anything. They're just like one and they're dead kind of thing. I didn't see if they had actual value as far as like health and things like this. So that I will need to check. They probably have a couple of health, but it's not that big. They've announced Shadowland, Daredevil, Elektra, and again Grunts and Ninja. From what they were saying, it's not something that they would come up with now on a regular basis. It's not going to be every character from now on will have grunts with them. That's not going to happen, which is fantastic, because nobody really wants to see that. This is a superhero game, and we don't want to be playing with grunts all the time. Also, you can only have one set of grunts on the table at a time.
Okay.
So you cannot just spam, and you cannot even have like two characters that will take grunts. Like, you can only have one set of grunts, I think, in your roster at all, like in your entire roster. So that also limits you cannot, have like 20 freaking, like 5 guys and then 5 grunts on the table and just overwhelm the table and the objectives and all this. So that won't happen either. So let's just say they've managed it very well, the way they've done it. So really happy about that. And yeah, I've not played in a long time, I have to be honest. I need to get back to it and just see how those grunts work. And yeah, so we'll see, but intrigued. And I think so far they've managed it really well, like how they work and all this. Rome Total War, which I talked about it. It's gonna launch in 2 days. So 2 days from now, which is gonna be on Thursday, which by the time you watch this should be launched. And so no minis except for armies on the map, basically, kind of thing. And the rest is all card driven, which looks interesting. I will have to definitely check it out when it comes out and see how that whole thing works. And now for the news that dropped while we were talking about, well, stuff. It's that, if he wants to, come on, here we go. It launched finally, well, today, right now.
Ooh.
Marvel Zombicide, which I still don't want it. I don't. Yeah. I'm looking
Not everything is for everyone.
No, but okay. Yeah, I'm looking at it and I'm just like, nope. Nope. Well, it's weird because it's I'm gonna have to check on Kickstarter properly because it's looking weird on the page. But anyway, so yeah, that launched. Again, like I think you have one zombies. I mean, it launched an hour ago, roughly, and it's already 400% pledged out of $500,000 goal. It's already at 1.9 million. With 16 days to go, it's at 1.97 million now.
I wonder if they'll make it.
Yeah, exactly. Like I wonder. No, the thing is, why are they freaking using?
Yeah.
Undead Pledge, $130. Resistant Pledge, $240. Galactus Pledge. Oh, so if you want the big guy, $410. There we go. And I mean the minis, yeah, can like Captain America, Deadpool, Wasp, Hulk, Captain Marvel, and Iron Man, all in zombie form. Okoye, Mary Jane, blah blah blah. Like some nice minis, but I just don't know. Man, there's a lot of mini. As always with Simon and the rest, yeah, it just like there's gonna be. I'm wondering the all-in pledge how much it's gonna freaking be, because you've got Galactus. Oh, you got a living version, so you not just the zombie version, but a living version as well, which.
Two really big models.
No, it's just the head.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's just it's just changing the heads and maybe the arms. The arms and the head. The rest is this, yeah. The legs and the torso is the same. The head changes and the arms change. Looks like it. But anyways, yeah. It's gonna be an all-in pledge. It's gonna be like what, 500 and some change freaking dollars, and it's just gonna be crazy expensive for what it is. Right now, yeah, the Galactus pledge is the highest one, and it's already $410. Marvel Zombies Core Box, X-Men Resistant Core Box, Galactus the Devourer expansion, all applicable rewards for $410. No. So yeah, there you go. That's a board game that's gonna be a gateway. But if you have ever gotten a Zombicide, it's huge. It takes forever to paint. I've painted a third, a quarter, a fifth of it. Probably a fifth. I've painted a bunch of, like, I took 2 of each zombies, painted those, and then painted 6 heroes that we use all the time.
Yeah.
I have another...
You were like midway through painting those zombies when we started talking.
Yeah. I still have the big guys, the Abomination to paint.
Yeah.
But the rest are painted now, like all the, yeah, so. Oh, and it looks like 1.996. It might just cross the 2 million by the time we're done with our podcast. Alright, what's your news?
So, there are a whole bunch of new Eldar kits coming for Warhammer 40k. And there was much rejoicing, and that, yeah.
Yeah.
Those kits are quite old. So, off the top of my head, because it's 40k and I don't...
Here we go, 2 million! Sorry. Here we go, they just passed 2 million. They'll hit 10 million by the end. Anyways, keep going.
So there's new Guardians, so your basic troops, and yesterday they showed off some new Dark Reapers, which are nice. So there, yeah, that's that. Not got a lot to say about them. They look nice.
They look the same.
They look the same, but also better, which is
weird. Crispier.
Yeah, they've kept the same aesthetic, and
because of technology, now it's
their level of their details. Yeah.
They look crispier.
Yeah. There's a new set of.
Well, but they could have. I mean, and so that was a question. Do you know if they primaris them? They're bigger or not?
I don't know. We've not seen them next to anything.
Yeah, because a lot of that was one question that on Uncle Adam, I think it was on his Twitch that people were asking, and he was like, "Yeah, I don't know if they've primaris them and made them bigger as well, or just improved the sculpt a little bit." So yeah, all right.
I would hope that they're the same size, but
yeah, so they don't look out of place next to the old ones. Yeah, that would be
There's a new 40k terrain set. It's some buildings and some radar dishes and some boxes and stuff. So I will probably end up picking that up at some point, scraping all the Aquillas off and using it for Horus Heresy.
Oh, and my I just realized my phone is dead.
Aha! Not me!
For once, it's on me. God damn it. Alright, that's gonna be fantastic. Let me just... Because I never plugged it. God damn it. So I don't know when it stopped. Jeez, we're gonna do a podcast that's just gonna go well one day. We will.
Why break the habit? Why break the habit?
Anyways.
So yeah, I'm gonna use that for random
cool
stuff because.
Well, yeah, 40k, 30k, yeah, it doesn't really.
It's basically the same.
Yeah, it's basically the same. Yeah.
There's a new issue of 28 mag out.
Okay, what is that?
It's a Blanchitsu style super grimdark sort of thing.
Cool.
So they do stuff like Inquisitor 28. I'm not sure if that's where Turnip came from.
Oh yeah, maybe.
I think Turnip came from there. But it's a particular style and mythology of painting and playing. But it's always nice to look at and see people painting stuff and go, ooh, ah.
Ooh, oh, nice. So cool.
And I don't know if this counts as news or counts as a shout out, but my good friends Grant and Curtis or Archmagos is Grant, and El Destructo is Curtis. They've started a tabletop gaming podcast called Throwing Dice. So
cool.
If you want to go check them out on Spotify and
please put the link in the put the link in the document page. And then I'll definitely go there.
See them. Tell them we said hi. and then maybe they'll be nice to me next time they run a 30k event.
Well, 2 million, so they've passed 2 million, definitely. Alright, well, hopefully, I don't know. All this is gonna pan out. I am gonna have to run, so hopefully today. Oh yeah, so it looks like it did save the call at least. We had random issues again. We'll get there. We'll get there.
We gotta figure out where there is first. Let's.
I lost you. There we go. There you are.
Yeah.
Well,
hello.
Thanks a lot, Liam, for coming as always.
Pleasure as always. Nice to be
from being there. We will do the next podcast in 2 weeks. Hopefully by then we'll have your video and my video on a little bit of painting. And yeah, again, like, subscribe, links below for everything that we talked to during the podcast. Even if you're listening to this, there is always all the links below of all the pages and the news and all the stuff that we talked about. Follow us on Twitter. Most of the pictures of the stuff that we painted, talked about, again, like we've not necessarily show them here on screen, what we did the past 2 weeks, but if you follow us on Twitter,
there's going to be
Instagram,
lots of pictures of the stuff that I painted for my secret projects.
So go Instagram, go on Twitter, and just look at all those. Leave a quick like. I try to do is hobby streak, latest, and then go down until I reach my post. So every day I post my hobby streak, and then I do that. Hobby streak, latest, and then go backwards until I hit my post again. And I put a like, and I read all of them, and I try to put a like on all. Well, I put a like on all of them, and I try to read all of them. Ask question, ask where a model come from, ask about painting techniques and things like this that you see people do. It's just engage in the community is very important. I think a lot of people are putting likes, but not a lot of people are putting comments and being like, oh, that's really cool, like, I like that red, or how did you do this, or where did you find that model, or what game are you playing? And that will get people engaged and talking, and so yeah. Please do that. Enjoy the hobby. Keep hobbying. Keep streaking for the hobby. Please. I mean, it's
cold outside, guys.
If you're in the northern hemisphere, it's kind of freaking cold outside, so don't do that. And yeah, again, thanks a lot, Liam. And bye, everybody. See you in 2 weeks. Bye.